And you know, City still have immense quality, but you know, the rest of the league, I think, is the quality in the rest of the league has increased, and City might have lost a little bit in terms of unpredictability with Haaland up there, and you know, he's still adjusting to that team, and they've had to change the way that they've played. So I think both things are kind of a factor.
Adjusting 24, 26 goals in the league. He's adjusting.
I think.
No, they are adjusting. He's doing just great.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
He's a monster.
I think Thierry Henry touched on it a little bit in that when comparing Haaland and Kane, in that, you know, Kane is able to drop a little bit deep and help out the rest of the team. Haaland doesn't do that yet, and I think part of that is the way that City use him. When he was at Dortmund, you saw a little bit more of his game, but in this City machine, you know, they say this is where we need you, and with his ability, he's able to do that easily. And look at the goals, and look at the results. But I think for him personally, we haven't seen all of his game because he's in this City system.
Well, okay, so because my perspective on this is, I think it's a combination of things. Right. One, I think City's a victim of their own success. That's the first thing. Right. For a team that we're human beings. So it's for a team that has constantly been winning, it's only natural that you take your foot off the gas for a little bit. Right. And in the good thing is that in the Premier League, when you take your foot off the gas for 5%, another team is right there. All they need is someone that's how Liverpool. So that's how Liverpool got over it, right? They beat them that one time. So I think that's what happened at the beginning of the season. They took their foot off the gas for a little bit, and then Arsenal got ahead of steam and start rolling. And then when they wanted to say, you know what, let's turn it up now, they're still finding trouble in terms of their consistency. So I knew they were going to drop points at some point. I didn't know it was going to be Nottingham Forest, but I knew that they're going to drop points. And do I think they're going to drop more points? Yes, because it's going to be easy for them to get that level of motivation for the Arsenal, because that's the team that they're competing against. But against some of the other teams, it's just going to be natural that because they weren't as motivated at the beginning, they're going to not be as focused as they should be, and they're going to drop points. That's one. And then I think the next thing that's happened to them is some of the decisions that they made during the summer is affecting them in terms of they don't have any runners. None of their wingers are really runners that run behind. So the Raheem Sterling, the Gabby Jesus, they don't really necessarily need the ball, right? You could play the ball behind in the space. That is not there. So because of that, everything is playing in front of you as the team that's defending. That's so you can say, oh, they're a little bit more predictable, right? That's part of it. And another thing is, I don't think their midfielders, especially, I would always say they need a midfielder like, we're Arsenal fan, like a Ozil. Because when Ozil is on the field, that point striker sees the ball three times as much than if he's not there. They don't have someone who constantly feeds the ball to the point striker. They pass the ball sideways all the time, until they get an opening, right? So they don't have no one running behind, and they don't push the ball into the point striker. And sometimes even if he ever comes short, if you watch them play, there have been a lot of times where he comes short to get a one touch, and then he's looking for them to play the ball over the top. They don't do that.
Do you think that's a personnel thing, or is that just the way Pep Guardiola and his system likes to operate?
I think it's a combination of both. I think Kevin De Bruyne, I think he has to take a lot of the responsibility on that. You have to feed the ball. You're the attacking midfielder. You have to feed the ball into the striker. That's one. That's how I think. That's a personality aspect. But I think in terms of the system that they're playing, that's part of it because they're using him as, I don't know if you remember when Zlatan was at Barcelona.
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing. Exact same thing. Where you have the center forward where he has to stay in the center of the field, which is the exact same thing Barcelona is doing right now. The center forward has to be in the middle of the pitch, occupy the two center backs, and just let the play happen around them, and he's just there to finish. But this young man can offer so much more. And the problem that because they don't have no runners, it's not like they have anyone running in behind them. Mahrez is not like a runner, right? He wants the ball at his foot so he could beat you and cut inside. What's the name? Yeah. Jack Grealish does the exact same thing. Foden does the exact same thing. Bernardo Silva does the exact same thing. So that means it's going to be in front of you. So a team like Arsenal is easy to play against because Arsenal is going to attack and they're going to attack. So there's going to be space there. But when you play the Nottingham Forest of the world, when they have 11 guys in the box and say, okay, come attack us. That's how these things happen when teams get them on the counter. Plus the fact that they are not as motivated as they were before. So it's not unpredictable that they are going to drop points. And I think they're going to drop more points during the season.
Yo, B, excellent. Excellent. Let's real quick. Excellent. That was an excellent analysis of what's going on with those guys right now. And there's one last thing I would like to throw in there before Aiden transitions. A lot of the other teams in the Premier League, this is something else I've observed, including Arsenal, have adapted to the way that they play by also trying to play the way that they play. Mm-hmm. So you got clubs coming up from the championship trying to play out of the bag, ball playing goalkeeper, ball playing center back, and during their dominance, they were kind of like one of a kind, So you have everybody trying to play football now, and that's also something that has closed the gap a little bit. People aren't as afraid of it because they're seeing it week in and week out, not on the same level as City, but everybody's kind of doing the same things. So,
I say one last thing? It's a good and bad thing, right? It's basically people copy success. It happens in everything. It happened in music, happened in sports. I can give you a quick example. I remember when we have a friend in the group who's a coach, and they have this thing where they're coaching youth soccer right now, where the kids have to they can't attack without the ball passing a certain line.
It's a build-out line.
Yes. This is here in America, where that's a good and bad thing. No, you want to teach them how to play the game. I get it. But what's going to happen when another team come and win the Premiership playing a different way?